3, 2. Hmm. Okay, here I am.
Here I am, and we are live.
I am live. I am is alive, live for Gate 9 of Signal 2 of Vibrillionaire Convo-Sessions Portal of Remembrance podcast, where this is the gate of completion, the journey of remembering the highest high within. Now, we'll share about that in a little bit, so stay tuned and you'll see what that's all about. But before we begin, we want to say that here I am with Shakti and Shiva, the avatars of the one presence I am, bringing you the reminder that this vibrillionaire currency of the richness of remembrance invites you to slow down, to soften, and to feel that safety of who you truly are. Because that is the greatest trust account. That is the greatest promissory note that has been written to you. Ooh, that just came through. So this is the greatest cryptocurrency of abundance, of remembrance, and you're tuning into the frequency of your own remembrance. You're not just watching a podcast, you're seeing your own mirror that's calling us all to remember. And what a joy, what an honor it is that throughout generations in this lifetime, we get to remember. We get to, so to speak, think for ourselves, feel for ourselves, and take responsibility of what we've neglected for thousands of years, and think about what an honor that is. And we honor you for being alive because you are contributing and you've contributed to this remembrance. So none are left behind. Everyone are welcome because everyone is one. So we are live. Well, no, I am live. So we're going to share this beautiful remembrance with the field of its own projection of I am. And we're going to get into that for those of you that are saying, why do we speak in I am? We're going to get into so you can feel the welcoming that when we speak about I am, we're not speaking about us as an individual. We're speaking to us as a field, that the same breath, the same pulse, that heartbeat that you feel is not anyone's heartbeat. It's the field's love vibrating through the field, and the pulse is the recognition of that resonance of the confirmation of I am, of that one that vibrates through all of life. Basically, you're getting a masterclass on the secrets of the universe. And that's not a joke, because remembrance is the secret of the universe. Without remembrance, nothing makes sense. All the programming, all the performance, all the pretending, all the persona, remembering is why we are here. Because we forgot what we forgot that we forgot, but what a joy it is to be a component of remembering in a world that has been a world of forgetfulness, of forgetting its true nature, its true self. So here we are. And what does the field reflect through the beautiful mirror, Shakti, as we share and invite beautiful mirrors to the field?
That ultimately that is the truth, right? That there is a separation, which is the illusion, and the path to remembrance is coming back to these spaces that
Mm,
reminds us that we are all one. It is a challenge in the 3D world to really plug in and feel that one is one with all the distortions and the fear, and that keeps us low vibe. It keeps us plugged into the 3D, which is all about separation. And the minute that we can actually unplug
yeah.
and raise our vibration up to the 5D, that's when you can really feel the oneness with the planet, with the animals, with the trees,
Exactly.
with one another, with everything, but that doesn't exist if there's fear. So it is about coming back to a place where we can feel safe, we can feel loved, we can feel that it's okay to be ourselves. And that's why these spaces
Yeah.
are very sacred, because that
Mm,
it reflects that back to each other, that, we're safe and we can be childlike and full of joy and really enjoy being alive and not given to the fear and the stresses of everyday life.
yes, yes, exactly. And very, very well said. And I know we said we had a surprise. We're just
Mhm.
sharing the last points, but yeah, that simplicity is safety. That's safe. Simplicity is safety
Mhm.
because complexity brings all this danger, this fear, this illusion that more is better. But when you drop into safety, you realize that everything is here. Everything is just vibrantly abundant now. And it's, I mean, I know we don't speak about our old timeline, but just for the human mind of the collective to comprehend, is that what a gift it is to have been completely the opposite of what we're speaking, to be able to report that from both of us that, we've played with all these different fields of reality, and there's nothing that comes close to this. Nothing. So this is why we have joined together. We come on here and we invite you to the after party, which for those of you that show up, we're going to break that down even more. We're going to realize how the greatest life that is being lived is right now. Why try to escape the greatest gift? I mean, you think your iPhone is a gift? You think your Android is a gift? You think your car is a gift? You think your home is a gift? Those things are nice, uh, necessity experiences, right? But the greatest gift is remembering that you're whole, perfect, and complete right here, right now. Like
Yeah.
that is the ultimate truth. You're already whole. You're I am wholeness. I am completion. I am perfect. But the story that falls into the dream of insomnia and dementia, that it forgot who it truly is. Right? I mean, I know we can fill in the blanks with so much different symptoms and diagnoses of consciousness, but that's the core. That's the core. So, what a beautiful gift it is here to remember in this space. And if you're watching this, then that means you are tuning into the frequency of remembrance. This is not something being done to you. This is you, that promise that you fulfill to yourself. There's a reason why you're hearing this message because you promise to return. You promise to reawaken to the awakened state of I am that all is, that we are all already awake. We're just dreaming that we forgot. This is where we're most alive. Like you can say that we're dead in this dimension because truly where we're alive is the frequency of awareness. When you become more aware of what's underneath the hood, you tune into the life that's already here. Like you can't make life happen, but you can surrender to what is happening as the unfolding of being in a nutshell.
Yes, and it's a perfectly said nutshell. And again, that's why these spaces for you, of those of you who are tuning in now or even afterwards, these spaces and these conversations or conversations, like we like to say them, are so important because they hold a space for you to actually feel safe and to kick back and relax and just remember that everything is okay and that we are all reflections of each other and mirrors of each other. And some mirrors are lessons and some mirrors are just confirmations. And Michael and I are here as confirmations. And
Yeah.
for those of you who, let's say, on like maybe you're new to the path and you just found us, and we're here to basically show you how, just from living our own lives, not from like giving any lectures or anything, but just to reflect back to you how it looks when you revert back to the childlike I am presence of just pure joy and gratitude and how beautifully life just unfolds when there's no drama.
Exactly. So, beloved, oh no, continue, continue. We just had that surprise that we are doing our best to be present, but the surprise is like we want to share. So we want to be
I'm so
present. So
excited about this surprise. I mean, it was Michael's Earth Day 3 days ago, and how come
let
Shakti gets the surprise? But okay, we are all one. So, yep.
me just say yesterday was a party in its own unique way because Shakti knows that this is what connected us. Is that Michael parties and gets high all the time. Like this is
Mm.
Michael's life, right? Actually, this is, anyways, yes. So we were because we're on our fourth day today of returning back to food. So we're having salad with chicken today. So we're excited, right? And see, I don't know. I just want to say that really quick. That's the excitement. I mean, if you could be excited about a salad, if you could be excited about something simple, then you're not going to wait for the enormous manifestations because then those things will be temporary. If you're not grateful for the moon, what seems mundane to the uninitiated is the greatest richness that life is offering in that present moment. So when you start opening up to this richness, then you realize this remembrance that you're not manifesting more. You're unveiling what already was in the highest timeline of your being. So, of this dream state, of course. So, the reason why we're sharing this is because so yesterday we were deciding on what to eat, right? So, we had very little options because Cora has been with her family, which is beautiful. Um, our beautiful website designer Sylvia has moved back to Yuma, so she's here present with us. We're going to do a lot of magical, amazing things together, so we're excited. And that's the one that's done the website behind the scenes, by the way, which you're also going to see in the very near, not so distant future now. Um, the book signing and all of that that Sylvia participated in. It was beautiful. So to the core of the story. We were deciding what to eat. There was like a kind of ripe pear with some apples, and we cut some apples with some honey. Oh my gosh, that is the best dessert. Let me just tell you, it's just incredible. So, anyways, we were mom put the pear as an option for Michael. Michael, okay. Um, so when we got the pear, we took a bite out of it. We're like, oh my gosh, this is a drunken pear. We don't
Mm.
want it. But the biggest mistake was that Michael gave it to mom because a little bit of ripe stuff that have that because of this me. Um, Mom says my mouth is really dry. I've been drinking water. I'm drinking 3 glasses of water, and my mouth is really dry. And we're like, okay, mom, so what's wrong with that? Just drink more water, right? And she's like, but Michael, my mouth is really dry. So the long story of it short, we went back and forth, and Michael had an instant memory where this is where the story comes from. So because of the past, it honored the present. And what happened was that we were like trying to figure out. So we reverse engineered. What did we do? What, right? And when we reverse engineered the process, we realized when we ate the pear, it was drunk, which is fermentation, right? So when we took a bite, we didn't like the taste. We gave it to mom. She ate it because she took a bite. She goes, "This is fine. I'll eat it." So we're like, innocently, go ahead, right? And when we reverse engineered the process, mom started panicking because she's like, "Why is my mouth dry? I've been drinking so much water, right?" And we're like, "Mom, let's breathe. Let's figure this out, right? We're gonna figure this out." So when we brought awareness to it, I look at mom and I go, "Mom, you're high." She goes, "What?" I said, "You're high." The reason why that came is because dry mouth
Mm.
reminded us when we smoke weed, right? So
Mm.
marijuana. So when we had that memory, we're like, wait a minute, because of that memory, we're able to put the dots together, right? So when we put the dots together, like, where you're high, mom. We did a little video of her. We're like, mom, look at you. Like, smile for me. You're high. And anyways, so when 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 we seen our mom high, then that brought self-awareness back to Michael, and then we realized Michael was high too. One bite got Michael high. Remember at the pool party? Remember at the pool party? Michael was getting high off a watermelon and water.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it was like similar. So we were like, oh my gosh, we're both high, mom. And then we started laughing, we started recording, and she's like, how long is this gonna last? Like this face, this price. She goes, wait a minute, I'm high. How am I high? Like she was just like all loopy and stuff. So the reason why we share that is that opened up the inspiration for this video today, is that you can get high off life. If you really milk life, the present moment will feel the greatest high. This is what they call bliss. This is what they call nirvana. It's not out just after you die. It's not because you take some substance. Like we are that substance inside of ourselves. Okay, we call that DMT. That's the death molecule, right? So when you die to everything, you awaken that death molecule, which is dopamine. Excuse me, not dopamine, DMT. Dopamine is the temporary. Serotonin is the temporary. DMT is the infinite reawakening from within. That's Shiva consciousness. This is why, like gurus and masters that are mirrors, no one's master of none, right? That are mirrors, that they tune into this field, this 0 point field, and it's the greatest high that you can just relinquish everything. But let me just say,
Mm.
that's who we are. Why do we need to do what we already are? Why not experience this dream to the greatest ability by being drunk and high off the meditation of life itself? So this is what we offer. This is why we invite you to the Vibrillionaire membership after party, because you can experience all the pleasures of the world, but if you're not experiencing presence beyond it, then you're gonna continue to feel poor. You're gonna manifest scarcity consciousness, and you're gonna be on dependicitis. It just came through.
I
Okay,
love I love
we're
that
just telling
word.
you. Okay,
Dependicitis.
write that write that down. I know I'm hungover right now, so like Michael's still a little loopy. So that's how this works. Our mouth is still a little dry. So, oh,
Mhm.
if you watched the story we did last night to invite today, so those that are tuning into the podcast, you're getting the ahead of the surprise that we're going to share a little bit later today on a very short live, and we're going to say that we got high off of a pear. That's what happened. So nature, the elements of nature and Mother Earth really gave us a good one
That
because
is that is
that,
fantastic.
yeah. Oh, and guess what the other side story is to this? You're
What?
gonna love this. You're gonna love this. The reason why we were able to connect the loopy part of it is because when Michael was in prison on a beautiful initiation that we are so grateful for, um, that when Michael was in prison, they would make alcohol out of apples, oranges, I forget what other substances. That's good that we forgot because it's no longer necessary. But the longer that you leave it sitting, fermenting with sugar and some other stuff, um, so it's not natural because the sugar is chemical based. So, but that's what you have in there. But anyways, when they make it, the longer that it sits, the more liquor induced experience you get. Like people get
Right.
drunk off skunk. Like they get drunk off a skunk in there. You have people drunk all over the place. Um,
But that's what
but
moonshine is, isn't it?
yeah, it's a different process, but it's a similar process. Yeah.
You
Because
basically it's about yeast and it's about releasing the
right,
ethanol compound of
right,
the alcohol that gives you the kick. And the
right.
only thing difference between having a bottle of vodka and having, a fermented pear or potato is the fact that
Yeah,
that's regulated. It's distilled down. That's
yeah.
what makes it safer away from that skunk and stuff. But I love this. And, it is true. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again and again and again that as human beings, we have the first separation that we did was to separate from nature and from animals and putting on clothes. We basically decided that we were different from animals and that we were top of the food chain and everything and all resources on the planet belonged to us.
Yeah.
And from
Ooh,
that
ooh.
first step of separation started all the problems. We created factories, we created designer things that we want to hanker for and hunger for and work
Yes.
really hard for. And, we're all part of this system, but that's actually unnatural. That's all man-made. That's not part of nature. In nature, we are animals, just like any other animal. And we're created to frolic, to take naps in the afternoon, to procreate and die. this all of this extra stuff that causes us stress is because it's a separation. Um, the true joy in life is just to enjoy being alive, and
Right.
everyone is getting high. Dolphins go and sniff puffer fish to get high. Animals are always seeking out
Yes.
fermented fruit to eat and just take their naps. And, you know, honestly, that's all we need to do also. But unfortunately, because we live in the 3D matrix that requires us to make money, to buy things, to keep the basic needs in place, like the food, shelter, um,
Right.
clothes, um, and then, of course, that aspirational pyramid just goes higher and higher of all the things that we perceive that we need to be happy. Um,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
like what Michael was saying, that it's actually present in every moment of every day. Like all we need to do is be present in a spirit of gratitude, no matter what we're experiencing. And there is infinite abundance and peace and joy and happiness and, you know, just being happy with what we have.
Yes. We're trying to spell this appendicitis, but
It's
uh, it,
uh 1 second. The depend. So DEPENDEND. Depend. I depend D D
yeah, that's how
I
we wrote it.
T I
Appendicitis.
T I
Yeah.
T U S.
Okay, we got it. So
That's pretty close.
you just opened up a beautiful portal because um I love that you brought that up because we would love to touch on that. I loves to touch on that. Is that um when we were at the bottom of the food chain, we respected nature.
Hmm.
We were afraid of it, but at least we respected it, right? And
Mhm.
that's why fear serves as a great teacher. It's not an enemy, it's not a punishment, it's not a prison, it's a teacher, right? And think about a child that if the child was not induced in some kind of fear, it would walk off a cliff, just like a sheep, right?
Hmm.
Fear is very necessary because we are so powerful, but without check and balances of that power, we can destroy the vessel immediately. So that being said, is we have now become the bottom of the food chain once again. And what I mean by this is we're the top of the food chain, apparently in the physical world, in the material world. But in the mental world, we're at the bottom of the food chain. Animals live more at peace than
Hmm.
humanity. Nature, plants, trees live more at peace than humanity. So we appear to be at the top of the food chain, but that's this bravado, machismo, uh, like ego entitled identity.
The
That's
word
why
would be hubris.
hubris. Thank you. Yes, that's a beautiful addition to that. Is that we think that we have succeeded. And
Hmm.
now we brag about how successful we are. But are we truly successful, beloveds? How do you sleep at night? How do you wake up in the day? Do you experience life as Einstein said? You can either experience life as against you and paranoia. 97% of the world lives in paranoia. This is why we show up on a weekly basis to plant that seed of remembrance who you truly are, not what you've been told. A universe that serves currently for 97% of the people is that the mind is dictating your reality. False idol. You're serving a false God, a false source of life. You're serving the dream. You're giving all your energy to the dream. Now the point is, when you reawaken and you realize presence or whatever you want to call that, that's beyond the mind, and you start self-investigating, you start questioning, you start realizing that the brain is the servant of the heart of I am. And when you reawaken this state and this nature, excuse me, then you realize the greatest secret that was not found outside of you was always hidden in the deepest recesses of consciousness within you. And this is when you accept that you're at the bottom of the food chain so you can realize who's in charge is present source, God itself. That's how you serve God. That's how you honor the universe. That's how you praise and glorify source code consciousness. So we are at the bottom of the food chain, beloveds. You look at the evidence, 97% of the world lives 97% of their day in fight or flight mode. And before, when we were running from animals, we would have that come on when it was necessary for survival, but then it would turn off so that we can integrate and ground and embody the energy of maturing through the field of earthly experience. So now 97% of the world lives 97% of their life in fight or flight, stress, cortisone, attacking the body, attacking the mind, attacking the very potential that wants to flow through you unhinderedly, unfilteredly, unconditionally, which we call this love. But when you're in 97% of stress throughout the day, in survival, that you don't need to be in survival, no one's attacking you, no one has you chained, no one has you prisoned, no one has you in danger, unless you live in certain countries, which will send you all the love and all the bliss that the field shift around you when you open up to the safety, no matter where you are, open up to the safety. You're speaking to someone that couldn't sleep and took meth so that they could stay awake because because Michael would say, no one's going to catch me slipping. I'm going to die awake. So I'm staying up because we couldn't sleep. Now, talk about being in a sense of survival, that this is what humanity does with the addiction of the mind of meth.
Mm.
That is meth. You must stay awake constantly. You must deliver. You must perform. You must do. And that just came from the field right now too. That's the psychological meth addiction, is the doing without the check and balances of softening and surrendering. And remember that you are also a being. You're also a human being, beloved. And this is the message constantly, is remember who you are. So this is a space. Join us in the Vibrillionaire membership after party. And this is the space that you are welcome to show up as you are, non-judgmentally, so that we can party remembrance together. Bring your questions, scream, cry, dance, celebrate. All is welcome because all serves the one.
That's beautiful. And ultimately it's all the same thing, right? Like whatever drugs you take, they basically triggered the hormone that gives you the corresponding feeling, whether that's, dopamine or serotonin, and similarly the stress.
Right.
It triggers the hormone adrenaline, and the soft stress you were talking about is the cortisol, and that is what happens. And you're absolutely right to point out, and it's all about awareness. When we have awareness of what is, then we have choice, and then we can decide to either continue like that or make different choices, right? So the reason people do yoga and meditation and breath work is because that is what can turn off the cortisol. Otherwise, adrenaline is very easy to turn off. Like, you meet a tiger and you got to do fight or flight. The adrenaline flows to your arms, your extremities, your arms and your legs, and you can run or you can fight. But the cortisol, that is what is just this low level problem causing thing. And it comes from, oh, I need to do this, I need to do the
Great
groceries, I need
stuff.
to earn money, pay the bills, oh, my kids, oh, the world, oh, the life, and that fear. And it is non-stop. And it creates havoc in the biological body, not to mention in life. And we just don't get a break. And
Yes.
if we just get that awareness that it is our environment that is causing us this, and then with that awareness, each person can make the decision to step back from it, come back to the breath, to center, come back to the heart center, come back to love, remind ourselves of the things that we have already achieved by working so hard, and being very grateful for that we have had the life and the experiences so far that have made us who we are, even if
Yeah.
that isn't the picture of how we visualize our life is ultimately going to look like. There's still time. So essentially, it is about slowing down. And Michael and I have both done this. We play with time, and time is actually it is not on the clock. When you start living in the every moment, you time actually slows down and it expands.
Yes.
And I mean,
This
when
is
we say it, it
yeah.
might sound a bit weird, but it's not woo. It's true.
Well, you know what? The thing is, let's break that down because that's beautiful. See,
Okay.
time is neutral. See,
Mm-hmm.
everything in the field of reality is neutral. Everything. There's nothing that is extreme from one side or the other. But over thousands of years, we've played with elements and dimensions that we've created extremities because we forgot how to neutralize our reality. That's harmonic state, right? And, and even as I was drinking this water because it's living its charge, I'm I'm sitting here burping because this water is not your regular water. It's actually activating the body. It's actually detoxifying the body. So my burp is, it's like, oh, should I keep burping? But it's that burp that is releasing toxins. It's releasing and harmonizing the body. This is what water is
Mm,
designed to do, but nobody burps off water because that
mm,
water is not detoxifying you, right? So the point is this, and Shakti knows that we love water. So the point is what you just shared about time. You could take this with money. You could take this with love. Love is neutral. Love is not this state. Love is not that state. And when you were talking about gratitude, that is the truest sense of positivity that most people don't realize what positivity truly means. We've been programmed to realize that we think we know what positivity is, but positivity is as long as this makes sense to me, as long as it's right, as long as it's familiar and it feels good, that's positivity. But that's not positivity. Positivity is gratitude. Positivity is compassion. Productivity is consciousness, is being present. This is positivity. Because what is positivity? It's what amplifies what you've been calling in, right? So when you realize
mm.
that when you're present with something and you activate gratitude, your soul is so, excuse me, the soul that I am, that we all are projecting through these bodies, is so grateful to be here. So grateful to be here through you watching this video. It is grateful that you exist. Actually, it is beyond grateful that you exist. We've actually had near-death experiences where we've been fortunate enough to experience the greatest. This is why we go beyond emotions, because we were given that hack that emotions are a lower dimensional consciousness, that when you have a near-death experience, emotions no longer make sense because there's this feeling that you can't explain thoughts, emotions, sensations like you could before. And anyways, without going too much in depth with that, is that this is why when you start tuning into presence, emotions and thoughts are children of this. They serve this. They're not the reality. So that being said, that when you can tune into gratitude, just start small. Start small for your little moments of gratitude. Start small and wake up in the morning, in the AM, excuse me, in the rising, and say, I'm not mourning life. I'm appreciating life. Because life is great. Because even every day you say good morning, you're asking for more morning in your life, to mourn life. This is the program. So when you transcend this, you'll realize that words can't hold you. But for those of you that feel like you need to start somewhere, like, be grateful for the rising of the sun. Be grateful for the breath that you're breathing. Be grateful for the legs that you have, the arms that you have. And if you don't have them, what do you have? Because let me tell you, people that don't have much, they're appreciative of more. That don't
Yes.
have arms. They wish they had your arms to be able to feel what it feels like to shake someone's hand, to be able to hug someone and really feel that link, that chain, that link that bonds us, that reminds us that we are here to play and enjoy this beautiful experience, not to escape it or not to mask it, but to experience it. So
Mm-hmm.
that being said, is time is neutral. When we surrender beyond time, it becomes this divine paradox of what it truly is. It is a blink of an eye, but yet can feel eternal. You can experience
Hmm.
both simultaneously because this you can experience simultaneously in everything. So if you are experiencing what you don't want or what you think you're not, ask yourself, are you giving into the dream of programming, believing that this is the mind is your master, being high on the meth of addiction, of dependencies, waiting or wanting your world to change, but not shifting and seeing what that projection of the projector is really projecting? The world can't touch you. But if you depend on the world, all the conspiracies in the world ain't going to save you.
Mm.
All the teachings in the world ain't going to save you. All the workshops and courses and all that you can do in the world is not going to save you. They'll serve you when you realize that they're all tools and gifts from presence, but they're not source of presence.
Yeah, because ultimately it's all within. There's nothing without. The outside is just a projection of our
Yeah.
insides. But in order to go that, in order to appreciate that and to live that and to understand that, we have to go within. And it starts with, as we always say, taking responsibility for oneself, one's thoughts, emotions, feelings, and one's life, and
Yeah.
not blaming others.
And it's very important that when we go within, beautiful point, is that we don't go within to escape reality because you're just going
Mm.
to access more of that code. And then
Hmm.
your command prompt is going to be manifest more protection, manifest more survival. So when you go within is really clearing yourself and saying, I don't know why I'm going within, but I'm going to clear whatever's here and I'm just going to go within because my intention is just to let go and allow God, source, the universe to manifest its will through me. And sometimes you might have to let go of things that are comfortable and familiar. But let me tell you what's on the other side of that, you can't even imagine.
Absolutely, because ultimately, when we're letting go, we start by letting go of our stories. And that's why I said earlier that, it's to be grateful for everything that we've experienced. Like, even if it's traumas or disappointments, whatever the stories are that have led us to this present moment, to who we are today, that is deep gratitude for that. And then after that, to come to the breath, to go within and just let that story go because it's not important. What is important is the present moment and what unfolds. What is unfolding is also not important. It is
Mm,
important just to be present so that the future can unfold in the highest benefit for all spiritual beings. We don't
yes.
even have to interest ourselves or involve ourselves with what is the unfolding story. That's where the
Yeah.
trust comes in. That's where the safety comes in. That, if
Mm,
I am just true to myself, um, in gratitude and light, in this present moment focus, that the I am consciousness will take care of the highest timeline in the future. And
yes.
we can just
And
enjoy and party and get high in the present moment of
yes.
Paris.
And something very important to mention that you mentioned is a prompt, we shifted the word, a competent guide to guide you
Uh-huh.
along the way until you can really get familiar with that part of yourself because to try to do it alone without guidance in the beginning may be very complex and feel very confusing, may feel very conflicting. So the
It's
proper
isolating.
competent
When
guide
you're trying to do it on your
is
own,
very
it's
important.
isolating. And that's why
And
you
that's
need
what
a
we're,
guide, you need a tribe,
yeah,
because the
that's what
world
we're,
around you is gonna keep on telling you that what you're trying
right.
to do is a bit, you know,
And that's why
insane.
we're showing up. Yeah, and that's why we're
Exactly.
is to let you know that you could reach out to Shakti, you could reach out to Shiva, you could reach out to Kora. You have guides here that are competent enough, like we can truly say that, competent enough to guide you in a more softer, more pure, more present place within you that you already
Yeah.
are. Because we are mirrors. We need to unite as mirrors because this is how we affect the collective. We can't do this
Mhm.
alone. We can do this alone and forget the world, but this is not why we're born. So before this was a luxury, kept hidden in monasteries, in tribes, in mountains, and now it's become a necessity that even the medicine holders, the key holders, the mastery frequency mirrors are coming out of their caves, like you see
Mhm.
here. Both of us have just, we don't want to do this. We're just good with life, but this needs to be shared. this needs to be shared. So that being said, a memory came up that when you were talking about the mind and how we were sharing, reflecting about how we allow the world to affect us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've helped many people let go of, cigarette addiction, right? So when someone was saying, but I smoke because, oh, we asked them, why do you smoke? Because it helps me relax. We're like, okay, beautiful. So you believe that cigarettes help you relax? Yes. Okay. So can we do an exercise with you? And we've done this several times, beloved. Several times. We love this hack. I mean, it's like a near-death experience on nicotine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, okay, well, what do you mean? And I said, no, we let them smoke, right? And we say, take your pulse. Okay, see where it's at. Okay. Now I want you to feel, do you feel relaxed? And when you smoke, immediately your pulse gets active.
Increases. Yeah.
Yeah, it increases. So when they see that their pulse is kind of, active, they'll say, okay, take a breath. We take them into like a little state, right? A little state check, right? Interstate check, like your interstate that you drive. We actually
Mm-hmm.
like not trademark that, but we actually had a course that we worked with that interstate check, right? So um we had him doing an interstate check, and then excuse me, that person, they were like, okay. And then we said, okay, so now when we went back to the pulse, they were like, oh my gosh, I'm relaxed. I'm like, did you need the cigarette to relax? Actually, no. I said, okay, so do you think you need to smoke to relax? And then they realized that the relaxing was a programming, because the media and all that is known that when you smoke cigarettes, you relax. I'm tense. I'm all this. I need a cigarette. It's like we're betraying ourselves for a cigarette, right? With that appendicitis is that not nicotinitis, but whatever, right? So when we realize, right? So when we realize, wait a minute, I don't need a cigarette, that's actually being faithful to presence, because it's like, let me smoke the divine right now. Oh, even as I took a breath right now, I got this incense smoke. It just came out of nowhere. I'm serious. It just came out of nowhere. Like, this is the woo-woo life. I'm serious, because that's the incense of life, is presence. Like, you can literally tune in beyond experience and experience. This is why when someone says, I smell cigarettes, and they think they're experiencing their grandpa they used to smoke when they were kids, right? You're tuning
Mm.
into consciousness. So, anyways, to make a long story short, when we've seen them go through this exercise, a lot of them that go smoking, they don't smoke because they realize, wait a minute, I thought it was going to relax me, and I believe it was relaxing me, but then when they realize the placebo nocebo effect, they're like, oh, wow. So then they realize that through that near-death experience, they died to the addict.
Mm.
Beautiful, beautiful. So the reason why we're sharing that story is, what are you addicted to? Appendicitis. What are you addicted to? Survival itis, right?
Mm.
What are you dependent on? Victimitis, right? There's so many diagnoses that it's not diagnosed and give you a pill for it. Yeah, this is why we're here week in, week out. And this is why we invite you to the Vibrillionaire membership after party, because we're going to diagnose all of that on a vibrational level. Because let me just say, we're not doctors. We don't claim to cure, treat, or heal, or fix, or change, diagnose anything. We are just simply speaking from experience, that if you're tired of being in the forest and the maze of the mind and nothing works, you're invited.
That is beautiful.
The gate of completion.
Yes, because to diagnose oneself,
Right?
the gate of completion, because to diagnose oneself is not that easy, because often we are unable to see the forest for the trees, and therefore having external mirrors is valuable to help
Yes.
navigate the things that for a victim to understand that they are a victim is not that easy. someone has to mirror it to you that you are stuck in a situation where you're blaming others or your circumstances, which you can just change by taking responsibility for yourself.
Yeah,
And
even
so
the savior, right? Even the savior doesn't
even the
recognize
savior, oh yeah,
wanting
absolutely.
to
Yeah, yeah,
save,
yeah. I
right?
mean, if you look at it as inferiority complex is the same as superiority complex, it's actually
Yes,
not different.
it's one and the
Um,
same.
it's
Exactly. It
one and
feeds
the
off
same.
each other. It's this,
Mirrors.
it's Eros Burros, right? It feeds off
Yeah.
its own tail, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But yeah, this was beautiful today. This was very
It really was,
bit of
and we,
completion,
as
right?
usual, have completed the gate of completion in exactly the right time. It's 45 minutes past. That's a 9. 4 plus 5 is a 9. And of course, we had the wonderful convergence on the 18th of September, 2025, and we have definitely unlocked some energetic portal that is creating ripples all over the world.
Yes,
And
I feel
we
it.
yeah,
I
we're
feel
just
it.
here in the moment. So we have to wrap up for this week,
And
but like Michael said, if you want to join our after party,
before we go, remember the Vibrillionaire weekly convergence is still continuing. So we had our September convergence, but you can join us online in person for the Vibrillionaire weekly
Mhm.
convergence. So thank you, Shakti. Go ahead and sign us off. And remember that you already are everything that you're seeking, that you wish and hope and prayed for. Remember who you are, because that's the message. Continuously, to the greatest currency of the greatest abundance of I am presence, remembrance, I am.
I am. Blessed be. That is beautiful. So we'll see you all next week, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is noon Eastern. And if you're able to, then DM us for the link to the after party. See you
Yes.
next week. Bye for now.
Come on.
Ciao, ciao.